Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you when you're watching this. Today I wanted to talk about the 3 states of being. And I talk about this a lot in my coaching and in my process, in my program for how we get better. But I think there's 3 states of being that we all experience. Let me get to that in a moment. Let's take a couple of nice deep breaths. Breathe in something peaceful. Exhale the crap. All right. So, 3 states of being. I think as human beings, we kind of experience the world through our emotional state, our physical state, and our mental state, meaning our thinking. And all 3 of those are kind of like spokes on a wheel. I don't know if it's going to, if you'll be able to see that, but that's just, each of those 3 states are kind of like spokes on a wheel. And any one of them can get that wheel spinning. And if a couple of them get going, it can start spinning really fast. And that usually ends up with us in the freak out zone. So let's talk about each of these individual states. Emotional state. You generally know when you're feeling emotional. Your physical state. You're either tense, tight, breathing shallow, perhaps in pain, or feeling your symptoms. In other cases, you're pretty relaxed, chill, not really carrying much tension around, and you're breathing normally. Now the mental state, challenging, but the mental state can get away on us. That's what leads us into that freak out zone where our thoughts just run away. We ruminate, we repeat, we catastrophically think about our future, about our present situation, right? That mental state. So just let's look at a quick example. If you get some heavy-duty emotions, that can oftentimes cause the physical state, meaning the pain or the other symptoms, to jump up. Then what happens when you notice that? What happens to your thinking? Oh no, oh no, oh no, what's going on? What's going on? And what does that do to your emotional state? Your fear, your worry, your anxiety, your frustration, your anger. And when that happens, what do you think happens to your physical state? It starts increasing as well, which causes more thinking. And before you know it, this wheel is spinning so fast. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You can't think your way out of that because you're in a loop. Emotions are rising, symptoms are rising, thinking is going faster and faster, and you're kind of in that loop. Some people call it a pain loop, whatever kind of loop you want to name it. If you have a suggestion for that, let me know. But it's basically a loop, and you're not going to think your way out of the loop. I think the best opportunity to slow this whole thing down is your body, the physical state. Don't try to think your way out of it, but you can relax your body and breathe your way out of it. Because have you ever noticed when everything starts spinning faster and faster and everything's elevating and the symptoms are getting worse and your emotions are building and you're ready to scream at somebody and your thinking is just going off the rails? Did you ever notice that it's really hard to settle that down by thinking, right? What we want to do is relax your body and breathe. Logical and rational thinking's out the window when that spiral happens. But if you can relax your body and then start to breathe normally, a little bit more fully, not overly exaggerated, but a little bit more fully, but in a relaxed body, what happens to your thinking? It starts to slow down. And your rational thought, your ability to reason and calmly reassure yourself, comes back online once you've settled the body briefly. Now, I'm not suggesting this is a light switch, and doing this will automatically turn off the sensations or symptoms. But it's a really good way to pull yourself back out of the freak out zone so that you can get back into the ability of calmly reassuring yourself that this is all temporary. TMS, temporary mind-body syndrome, right? It's all TMS, mind-body. The brain's just perceiving danger. And by learning to relax the body and breathe, that's when you can say to the brain, shh, we're okay, we're safe. And the brain has no choice but to believe it if your body's relaxed, because then your thinking's going to slow down. And when your thinking slows down and your body's in that safe, relaxed, comfortable breathing, what happens to your emotional state? It starts to de-escalate as well. So I like to view these three states as the areas where we want to create safety, right? If perceived danger is the overarching umbrella which is causing most of this stuff, wouldn't it make sense to create safety in your emotions, your physical body, and your thinking? Real quick, to create safety in your emotions, we feel them, period. That's it. I'm not a big fan of digging up the past. Some people like that. If you want to do it, go for it. Not telling you to stop that. But if you've done that already and you're still having symptoms, perhaps you don't need to go backwards. Focus on the right now stuff. But yes, emotions are at least a third of this process to me. So if you want to teach your brain that emotions are safe, we feel them. It's exposure therapy to the emotions. Your brain can't help but notice that, wow, he or she just felt some really intense stuff and nothing bad happened. So those emotions are safe. The brain will learn that. The next thing that you want to do is utilize your body to teach the brain that you're safe by relaxing it, calmly breathing. Now, you may still have symptoms, and there may still be a little bit of the brain going, yeah, but what about that pain? Or what about those symptoms or sensations? Still, relaxing the body and breathing is absolutely a physical message of safety. Do that when you notice your body is tense and tight and you're breathing shallow. And the mental state, how do we create safety there? By simply not taking our own thinking so seriously. We don't have to act upon it. We don't have to fix our thinking. We don't have to stop our thinking. That's absolutely impossible. But you also don't have to believe some of the fearful BS that's coming out of our brain. Okay? So keep those three things in mind. Create safety in those things. Because there's a lot of people going, oh my God, with everything that's going on with the globe and COVID and governments, right? Doesn't matter what your viewpoint is there. There's a lot of chaos and stress globally right now. And there's a number of people that feel like, with all that going on, I'll never get better. My take is that within the things, within your influence, the emotional state, physical state, mental state, those are within your influence. And by doing the things I've just mapped out in those three areas, you can create a degree of safety that may not have existed before. And when the brain feels safer, guess what happens? The brain and the nervous system and the body starts to settle down. Dysfunctions start to return to normal. Things start to return to balance. And so just keep in mind those three states. Some people have a spiritual state. And if that helps you, if that brings you peace, comfort, strength, to rely on your spiritual beliefs, wonderful. Do that too. Call on that as a place of strength and support and belief that you're going to be okay. I don't usually teach the spiritual stuff because everybody's very, very different on that. And in my experience, the emotional state, physical state, mental state, if we can kind of bring those together in a way of creating safety, that's very much, definitely enough to dial down the brain, the vigilance, the hypersensitivity in the nervous system, and the symptoms can go away. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Love you guys and gals, and we'll talk to you real soon. tomorrow, actually. See ya.